Welcome to Meet Me at the Deli, a food advice podcast where the pickles and slaw are always free. I'm Liz.
And I'm Jeffrey. Every episode, we're answering your burning food and culinary questions, and we're sharing our stories and insights from years working in the industry and living in our self-made shtetl.
I had this past weekend, a really unhinged culinary weekend where I kind of ate weird things that made me feel kind of delighted, and I wanted to share them with you. A close friend of mine had her 40th birthday, and so we had a big party for her. Thank you. And one of the things that Amy loves are foot-long hot dogs. So the host of this party had gone to Costco or Restaurant Depot and gotten one of those hot dog roller things, you know what I mean? The professional one, the one that is at 7-Eleven, full real one. Yeah. And they had set it up, and the meal at the party, which was a whole long day of 12 hours, were foot-long hot dogs.
What did you put on the hot dog?
I only put ketchup on the hot dog.
Ketchup?
Yeah, I love ketchup on a hot dog.
Oh my, that is...
Why are you so... You seem surprised. Ketchup doesn't belong on a hot dog. What do you put on a hot dog?
Mustard and sauerkraut is my go-to.
No,
okay.
No. I'll do that on a sausage, a nice bratwurst kind of situation, but a hot dog? No.
Ketchup always feels like that's the kid's hot dog,
When you're eating a foot-long hot dog, you're not really thinking about your adult experience. You are really excited about this question.
So this one came directly to me. Sometimes, people find us individually. And so John from Victoria in British Columbia.
In British Columbia, okay.
Okay, emailed me. And I'm going to read you the email he wrote.
Okay.
I just ran across your name and your cookbook while searching for a recipe to pressure can homemade gefilte fish. I thought this would be a really useful way to be able to send some G-fish, he calls it, to my son, whose appetite and appreciation exceed his culinary skills. Any information would be terrific.
Love this guy.
I also was able to make gefilte fish from freshly caught northern pike, which are much different in the very cold Yukon waters. They are very reminiscent of Lake Winnipeg pickerel. Okay.
Appreciating the details here, John.
He writes at the end, also, you may be interested to know that while living in the Yukon Territory for 20 years, I developed an excellent and probably the only recipe for corned moose.
Not corned beef, corned moose.
In parentheses, first, catch a nice moose, ... end parentheses. Regards, John. I wrote to him and I thanked him for the question, and I said, please tell me more about this corned moose, about your life. And so he wrote to me, and he wrote about the moose. And he says, thanks for taking the time to respond to my email. And now the moose. And he sent me a photo of him with a canoe. I'm going to show you in a second. He writes, it's in the covered canoe. I'll save the grizzly bear story for another time. Overall, moose is very lean, even a cut like brisket. I find that moose has quite a different taste, as well as fat content from venison. I asked him specifically, is moose like venison? I was curious.
Okay, sure.
He wrote, it reminds me more of a very well-aged beef, but with a bit more depth, perhaps due to the different diet, i.e. water plants and somewhat bitter barks and shoots. He writes, I have included my recipe for corned moose / pastrami / Montreal smoked meat below. For corned beef, reduce the secondary rub to just salt, pepper, and paprika. If you don't want the Montreal smoked meat, don't steam. It's all described in the attached recipe. A friend and I also started experimenting with other cuts of moose and found that several, such as chuck and outside round, worked pretty well, but brisket is still the best. Regards, John.
All right, so Jeffrey, you and I have taught 500,000 pickling workshops in our life together. And one of the things we say a lot in the pickling workshop is we sort of talk about salt. And we talked about salt on another episode. But when it comes to pickling, we always talk about salt because, of course, when you're doing lactofermentation, old world Jewish saltwater pickling, you need to use non-iodized salt. And one of the most common questions that we get hundreds of times is, well, what kind of salt should I use if I don't have kosher salt? So we always recommend kosher salt, Diamond Crystal brand kosher salt, but we want to give alternatives to people.
Yes.
And you have this line where you go, if you want to use pink Himalayan salt, you can, but like you're throwing money down the toilet. You know, I mean, you're always like, you like sneer at people. You go, like, you go, okay, you got to use kosher salt, Diamond Crystal Brand kosher salt. Don't use anything called pickling salt. That's a lie. It's just a green box. And then you go and don't use, you could use sea salt, I guess. And then you go, and I mean, I guess if you really want to, you could use pink Himalayan sea salt, whatever, just waste your money. This is a speech that I have heard from you, and you're laughing because you know
It's like,
I have your.
it's my shtick.
It's
my
your
shtick.
shtick.
Yeah.
So I am at a children's activity play space in Brooklyn not so long ago, and they have a little cafe there where you go there and you spend a few hours, and I try not to spend too much time in places like this, but it's a classy one. I already know people in Brooklyn will already know what I'm talking about. They're going to know because there's only really, this is a big one. And I like it. I like this space, and it's designed by an artist, and it's like really for the like elder millennial parent that I am, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it is meant for us. It's cool. It's very like beautiful. It's artsy, you know. And in the cafe, which you cannot avoid spending at least like $40 in when you're there, even if you bring your snacks, because they make smoothies in these like very beautifully shaped cups, and they're clear and they're very colorful, and they're called like the blue smoothie, the red smoothie, the whatever smoothie. Delicious smoothies, but you know your child will ask for a smoothie if you're going to go there. But they also have little sandwiches, okay?
Yeah.
So I am there, and I go up to the counter to order my child's blue ass smoothie, and they have salt and pepper, and next to the pepper are these fucking packs of Himalayan pink salt.
Wow, I really appreciate you connecting this to my rant. And listen,
You can't imagine how what my
Yeah.
body did when I saw that. All I heard was Jeffrey go, and if you want to use the pink Himalayan salt, sure, that's just fucking throwing money down the toilet. You wouldn't use the curse word in our workshop, but
it depends on the crowd. Right when I came back from California, I had 4 urgent messages from boomers in my life, who had to send me who sent me text messages of the article that Julia Moskin wrote in the New York Times about venture capital-backed bagel businesses.
yeah,
And
we all saw that
you
article.
saw that
Oh, I saw it.
And
I saw it.
I will tell you, I have been feeling uncomfortable about where we are in the state of bagels right now, and I've been holding it in, and I just needed to share and get this off my chest. Recently, so there's a number of trendy bagel shops now in New York, right? Apollo Bagels, which is famous for its like open-faced bagel sandwich, and Pop-Up Bagels, which claims to have invented the rip and dip, which is funny since you and I both have spent plenty of time in Montreal, where
It's all rip and dip, baby.
it's all rip and dip.
It's all rip and
It's
dip.
been doing that for years. And they won't make you a bagel sandwich until recently, and you had to buy the cream cheese and dip it. So I've just been very upset because I've been thinking a lot about, that I miss the bagel culture from New Jersey where I grew up, and I know you talk about this with Long Island, and I feel like something about New York, we just have these long lines of a lot of people who are not from New York waiting in line to eat bagels that are trendy and viral and have all sorts of things in them and on them and dip them into that aren't really like lifting up the bagel culture. And then now we have like big money in bagel. Like, and this article, Julia Moskin wrote a great piece about this. Like, one of these places opened their 30th shop. Maybe it was the 20th shop. One of those.
That's a lot of shops.
Across. I was just my friend from Colorado said, "Oh, that place in D.C. They just opened up a few in the Colorado area."
Right.
And I want to just put a plug out for the local bagel shop. I love the local bagel shop, and I know I sound like a curmudgeon and a hater, but with the trends and the thing I saw at Bagel Fest West, which it was nice, but but I kind of feel like the merch was great, like fantastic.
Great merch.
And some of the bagels did not live up to the merch, but the design was fantastic. And I just kind of feel like we're at this state where you can start to see what's happening to the infusion of that big money. And I'm very worried about the state of the bagel, because I really do appreciate what our friends at Bagel Up, who are putting on Bagel Fest, are doing, which is actually trying to lift up and elevate and educate and really bring a standard to bagel culture.
Yep.
And so I really appreciate some of those. But with their success, you also see this rise of Big Bagel. And we're seeing some of these bagel shops are pumping them out, leveraging AI, building machinery to make bagels. And like the hand-rolled bagel is a beautiful thing. And so that's where I wanted to rant about that, and I wanted to shout out the article, which we'll post in the show notes. And I just want to, let's all respect like a local bagel culture. And we grew up with a good one.
Thank you all for listening to Meet Me at the Deli. Please send us your questions to Gefilteria Instagram, email our podcast at gefilteria.com, or fill out the form in the episode description.
And tell people about the show. It's the best way for us to grow, and share the clips that are up at the Hebe Media and Gefilteria Instagrams.
Take our answers out into your life and bring us back the leftovers.
This has been a Hebe Media podcast.